According to her mother, in a statement that now feels like a haunting premonition, all she wanted was a simple, human feeling to be in love by Christmas. To feel that spark, to have someone to hold hands with at the holiday market, to experience the giddy, all-consuming rush of a first romance as the year came to a close. But what happens when the person you're dreaming about, the one whose name you write surrounded by hearts, is accused of being the one who ended your life? This is no longer just a sad story. It is a devastating and almost incomprehensible collision of innocence and violence, a sweet holiday wish twisted into an unthinkable, brutal nightmare. The narrative shatters. How do you go from sharing homework assignments and locker locations to being the reason that very locker becomes a shrine, covered in flowers and handwritten notes? How does a shared classroom become a crime scene, and a classmate become the prime suspect? This is the horrifying paradox we are forced to confront. Let's start with her. By all accounts, she was a typical teenager, full of the complexities and potentials of that age. She navigated the beautiful, agonizing roller coaster of high school life, with all its social hierarchies, academic pressures, and moments of pure, simple joy. And like so many her age, her heart settled on someone close to home, a classmate. Someone she saw every day, shared spaces with, and built a fantasy around. Her mother tells us in an exclusive and heartbreaking detail that in the intimate weeks leading up to the holidays, her daughter's wish was disarmingly simple and poignant. She just wanted to be in love for Christmas. Think about the profound vulnerability in that statement. It speaks not to materialism, but to a deep human need for connection, for validation, for the magic of a shared secret. But the brutal and changeable fact remains, this vibrant, hopeful young girl was found dead. The investigation, following physical evidence, digital footprints, and witness statements we are not at liberty to detail, led detectives directly back to the familiar environment of her high school, and to the specific person, the boy she had held a candle for. He was taken into custody. He now sits accused of her murder. Let that horrifying, almost literary symmetry sink in completely. The person she is alleged to have yearned for closeness with, whose attention she may have craved, is the same person now formally charged with taking her future, her presence, everything from her and from those who loved her. The object of affection becomes the agent of destruction. This creates a state of psychological whiplash and cognitive dissonance for everyone connected to the case. For the grieving family, their bottomless sorrow is now compounded by a bizarre, cruel, and surreal irony that twists the knife with every memory. For the shell-shocked community, the high school has instantaneously transformed from a place of routine learning and teenage drama into an epicenter of trauma, fear, and unanswerable questions. Hallways where laughter once echoed now feel haunted. How could two teenagers, operating in the same social orbit, under the same roof, possibly end up on these diametrically opposed, tragic poles, one gone forever, the other facing the possibility of life behind bars? What possible motive could exist in this shared, ordinary space of adolescence? The theories are as painful as they are speculative. Was it a moment of rejection that suddenly, catastrophically turned violent? Was this an obsession that was entirely one-sided, a fixation that festered in silence until it curdled into a rage that no one saw coming? Or does the truth lie in something even more complex, more hidden, a private interaction, a shared secret that went terribly wrong, a dynamic that was invisible to the outside world? The why hangs in there, a choking, toxic fog over the entire town. In the raw, suffocating aftermath, the questions multiply, each more agonizing than the last. First, the profound human question: what does this unspeakable twist do to the spirit of a mother who heard her daughter's earnest Christmas wish with her own ears? That private, hopeful moment between mother and child is now forever poisoned, a cherished memory weaponized by fate. Every twinkling festive light, every sentimental love song on the radio, every depiction of young romance becomes a trigger, a reminder of how a simple, adolescent hope was not just unfulfilled, but violently annihilated. The upcoming court proceedings will labor to construct a coherent, evidence-based narrative for a jury, but we are left to wonder, can any narrative, any sequence of events, ever make logical or emotional sense of this profound loss? Can the law provide a solve for this particular wound? This case, in its stark brutality, strips away the glamorized sensationalism we sometimes see in true crime entertainment. At its raw, aching core, it is a devastating case study in catastrophic misunderstanding and failed connections, and in the dark and predictable potential that can thankfully so rarely lie dormant within human psychology, even in the young. It forces us, as a society and as individuals, to ask uncomfortable questions. How well do we truly know the people we sit beside every day? How well do we know ourselves? How can the seeds of affection and the capacity for violence possibly inhabit the same heart, the same story? The line between them appears terrifyingly thin. She just wanted to be in love for Christmas. That single, haunting quote from a grieving mother will forever be the epitaph of this case. It is the heartbreaking, naive prologue to a tragedy that defies all reason and rips apart the very fabric of a community's sense of safety. This story isn't presented here to provide easy answers, because there are none to be found. It is about bearing witness, about holding space for a profound and unsettling contradiction that chills us to the bone, how the purest and most universal of human wishes can, in a single terrible and inexplicable twist of fate, become irrevocably entangled with the darkest of human actions. As the slow grinding wheels of the legal process turn, we are all left with a chilling reminder of life's terrifying fragility and of the silent hidden stories unfolding in the hallways of our schools. Stories that can without warning spiral into the most tragic endings imaginable.